morning. I'm Gail King from Looking to Make a Difference with Gail. I am really excited to be here at the Ronald McDonald House of Long Island with a very special guest. We're talking about Marvin Soskil. Good morning.
Good morning, Gail. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. The Ronald McDonald House of Long Island has been a passion of mine for the last 28, 29 years, and it's a pleasure to be here to speak about it.
Thank you. I'm going to go into some of the history. Fred Hill, I believe it was in 1974, from the Philadelphia Eagles, his daughter Kimberly fell ill with leukemia. And extraordinary that this man took the time to make the 100th out of 300 houses at that time from 30 different countries to help create this.
Well, it's an amazing organization. One of the issues here is that there's a misnomer about what people believe the Ronald McDonald House to be. The Ronald McDonald House was started at one time for children with cancer, with leukemia. However, what it has arisen to become is a place for families of seriously ill children who need to keep the family units together and stay close to the hospital so they could visit their ill children.
And Marvin, that is so important because at times of need and when people are so distressed, the last thing that you want to think about are all the things going with it. You want to think about your child.
Yes. And again, 28, 30 years ago, we had a child, and my child had a breathing disability. We spent about 120 days sleeping on the floor of the PICU waiting room upstairs in Schneider's Hospital. There was no Ronald McDonald House. My wife and I took turns looking after our kids, bringing food to one another, running to work. We were in total disarray. And the day that Aaron passed away, I said to Dr. Abramson, what can I do? And he said they're creating this Ronald McDonald House, and from that point I started raising money for the house. Whereas about a year later, I divorced myself because I had to get out and get away. And about 19 years ago, there was a networking event at the house, and I came to this business networking event. I saw the house, I saw what it did, and I've been attached to it since.
An incredible story where you're taking something and you're doing such good with it to help so many. I understand some 19,000 children have been helped here.
Oh, at least, yes. And
Yeah.
families.
And families.
Yes.
And we have Cohen Children's Center.
That's correct.
Let's talk a little bit, too, about Ronald McDonald's, the involvement from Ronald McDonald.
Right. Well, I am an advisory board member because I felt that I can make more of an impact dealing with the business community as an advisory board member because it's a matter of bringing people to the house to see what this house is, what it's all about, create the awareness. We do fundraising as well. I chair a couple of different committees, and we have a comedy event coming up October 22nd at Governor's Comedy Club to raise money and raise awareness for the house as well.
I know that when someone walks in here, and we were talking about this before, there's such an ethereal feeling of happiness. It's childlike, and as I said before, it brings out the child in all of us, and that when you walk in, you have to be a part of it, correct?
Yeah, it's wonderful. When you walk in here, you feel like it's a fantasy land. It takes you away from, again, your seriously ill child. It gives you a different mindset. The way the rooms are set up now, and there was just a big design makeover, the rooms, each room is independently different, has been redesigned by decorators, and it's just an amazing place when you come and visit. So please come and visit.
Now, project design is what you're actually referring to. I know they're going to have a huge event in October, and it's going to be quite extraordinary. And we're going to take a tour of the place later and show you some of the things they've done. Marvin, when we hear the name Marvin, we think of integrity. You are associated with that. You actually formed the Nail of Integrity, LLC, and you have quotes. How did you get started in that?
Well, that's a whole story. I started working with a business coach about 3 years ago, and the very first thing that happened was I took an online survey in leadership and success. And when we narrowed down into ethics and integrity, I scored 8 out of 10. And I looked at Pete and I said, that's absolutely ridiculous. And he said, yeah, but George Washington cut down the cherry tree. And when he did, okay, His father came out and said, "Who did it?" And George said, "Cannot tell a lie, I cut down the tree."
Right.
So my question, Gail, is did George have integrity?
Oh, because he actually cut down the tree, which was
Yeah.
something he shouldn't have done to begin with.
However, do we know if it was
But-
a living tree, a
or a
dead
dead
tree,
tree.
a neighbor's tree? Okay, in integrity, there is a gray area that we look at right and wrong. We perceive things differently.
true.
And so the next step is the following day, I'm in the jewelry business. I was walking across the Diamond District, the street, and there was a big nail in the middle of the street. So I said, a car could go over this nail, and I kicked it to the curb. And as I did, I was walking the other way. I said the difference between 6.8 and 10 would be to pick the nail up and put it in the garbage, and I didn't do that. So I was in and out of offices for about an hour, 5 or 6 offices, and all of a sudden I felt something under the heel of my shoe. So I took a look, and there was this nail all the way through the heel of my shoe, and just the head of the nail was sticking out.
Oh, you were being spoken to.
I was being, it was like the
absolutely.
divine intervention.
Yes.
I pulled the nail out, I put it in my bag, I brought it back to my office, and it sat in a jewelry box behind my desk for a year until one day I trademarked the nail of integrity, and I created a whole bunch of different designs with a nail to market the concept of integrity.
I love that because it shows your sensitivity, it shows your understanding, and the fact that you want to be a better person, which I think we all strive to be. In November of this coming, you're going to have a book. I think it's called When People Aren't,
When
No One's Looking. I think I get the gist of it, but I'm going to have you explain that.
Okay. Well, the definition of integrity is doing the right thing when no one's looking. And what happened is this product that I created, I started designing different products utilizing the nail. And I started to write blurbs about the product because in the packaging you have to put some type of explanation. The next thing I knew, I had 8 pages of content and 8 pages of outline and 20 pages of content and 8 pages of outline and 60 pages of content. And then I became so passionate that now it was about the message and getting out, and therefore I started putting out the integrity quote of the day, which I put out on Facebook every single day, only because I'm looking to get people to think about their actions, to maybe do things a little better and try and make this world a better place.
I think that is great. Now, at Brett Harrison Jewelers, and you're involved with that, you're president for over, was it 40 years? Did I actually read that?
Well,
Or more than that?
I've been
Or
in the industry over 40
40
years.
years.
But Brett Harrison Jewelers is about 17 years old.
And I know that you've done so many good things with that, one of which involved 9/11.
When 9/11 came around, I found a designer who created a coin, which was God Bless Our Heroes. It was a 5-ounce silver coin. I got very involved in the marketing of this coin, and we were trying to raise money, again, for the families of the fallen veterans, anybody that possibly needed funding.
I know you're involved in over 30 different charities. But before we go there, it's very interesting. You're also involved with Elder. So I'd like to bring that up, if I may.
Okay, thank you. Through Brett Harrison Jewelers, one of the things that I have been working on is working with elder care, estates and trust attorneys, because the biggest issue is when mom passes, who gets mom's jewelry? So if I can go in and do a listing and mom can assign who gets what, it will solve a lot of family feuds or prevent a lot of those family feuds from occurring.
But you know what? It doesn't even stop there. You're involved in Teresa's Foundation Golf for children. You're trying to help them. You're involved in, my goodness, arthritis, Marty Lyons. Let's talk about a couple of them and what you're trying to do and how people can get involved to help you.
Oh, sure. Well, another passion of mine is Long Island Cares, the Harry Chapin Foundation. Harry Chapin he fought to develop the worldwide hunger organization to feed, again, people that couldn't afford food, and created the Long Island Cares, the Harry Chapin Foundation, which again, I believe it's 288,000 people on Long Island need to go to shelters to be fed, and you don't know if it's your next door neighbor or who it might be. And, our quest is to try and help whoever we can.
Where does your altruism actually come from? Who was it that so inspired you as a child, or how does this happen?
Right. Well, I've been in the retail business forever. I never had a chance to go out to network, to get involved. And when my son passed away, that was the message that was sent to me. Aaron was here for a reason. I needed to get involved. I needed to start doing things. And I started getting involved with Ronald McDonald House, trying to raise funding. Then somebody asked me if I would help the American Lung Association, if we could raise money to send children to camp, children with breathing impairments. And then I was asked if I had an autistic child, so I got very involved with his golf outing, Tea for Autism, and then I got involved with the Children's Foundation. And it's just, people said, could you help, and I just couldn't say no.
How do you say no? That's you can't, and it's about the children, isn't it?
It's about the children. It's the families of the children, but it's about the children, because the children are the ones that are going to grow up, okay, to follow hopefully in our footsteps and try and do good.
Well, you are definitely leading by example as opposed to just speaking about it. And how can somebody reach you if they want to?
Surely. My telephone number is 631-465-2008. I'd love to speak to anybody that would like to volunteer, assist, find something that they could do that'll bring positive results.
Marvin Soskil, a man of integrity. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I have the executive director of Ronald McDonald House with me, and I'm talking about Matt Campo. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Gail. This is such a pleasure. It really is.
You have no idea what it does for me to walk into this. The beauty, it's just such a great feeling. And I was talking about this before, that when you come in, it is a fantasy. It is a fairy tale land. And I know you is, so...
Well, sure. I mean, the mission of the Ronald McDonald House is to be that home away from home, a place outside of the hospital where families can find respite and can find rest away from the white walls and the beeping machines and all of that clinical.
Lose yourself in a place like this. I want to talk a little bit about your background, Mr. C.W. Post, right? But I know that you were also the executive, you were a director at Heckscher. I know you were involved with the Helen Keller Foundation, and in addition to that, art museum. How did all of that help you to become director here?
Well, I think one of the things that I've enjoyed in my career has really been the frontline fundraising aspect, and really going out, sharing the mission of an organization, and asking people to help in significant ways. So I think
not easy to do, is it, Matthew?
No, it's not, and especially here on Long Island. There's a lot of people, and there's a lot of donors, but we're all vying for the same dollars, and there's a lot of really great missions. So it's really it gets harder and harder every year.
But when we finish our interview and we show what we're showing today, I know that we are definitely going to make that difference and help people and show them why they should be contributing to this.
We appreciate that. We really do.
Oh, we appreciate it. All right, now Fred Hill, whose daughter Kimberly had leukemia, you said that you'd actually met him. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because it actually was to become the 100th house, and I was mentioning before to Marvin that there were in 30 countries, and he did quite a bit, didn't he?
Oh, sure. Fred was the pioneer that began the entire Ronald McDonald House charity system back in the early 70s. Fred decided to pass around a hat at a Philadelphia Eagles game and raised a little bit of money and went to the doctors at the hospital in Philadelphia and said, what can we do to make a difference? And the doctors there said, we need a place for families to stay while their kids undergo chemotherapy, while their kids are in the hospital, so that they can remain close, because we all know that keeping families together heals the child faster. So I've had the opportunity to meet him at our international conference. He's a delight. He and his wife, Kim, unfortunately, passed away about 3 years ago, but lived a longer life because of what the Ronald McDonald House did for that family.
And also not only lived a long life because of this, but also a better life.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, they're the pioneers that really created this concept. And this was the early 70s. In 1986, we were the 100th house. There's over 350 houses globally now. It's really just amazing.
And each one is separate as a 501c3.
We are all separate organizations. We're all doing the same thing. We're all licensed by RMHC Global in Chicago, but we are all independent. We all have our own boards. We all do our own fundraising. We are all 100% philanthropy driven and raise all of our dollars ourselves.
Well, I saw, I believe, Ronald McDonald outside, and I took a picture with him to put up on Facebook and to share where I am today. But I understand the involvement from Ronald McDonald. From McDonald's, they do actually help you with seed money.
They do.
And that they help with the Mets. What are some other things that Ronald McDonald is doing to help?
So McDonald's Corporation supports RMHC Global, which is the entity that licenses all the houses globally. They bring resources together. It's sort of like being part of one big family. Many of the organizations within the system are smaller. We have a 42-bedroom facility here, but some are as small as 6 rooms or 8 rooms.
Yeah.
So they
actually 44,000 square feet, 8 kitchens. How many beds? And they have a library, and we're going to get into all that. I love it here.
They help to bring all of those resources together, and they, McDonald's pays that staff, and they do. When you build a house or expand a house, McDonald's corporate does give you a little bit of seed money for that.
Now let's talk about donations. I know that many people privately give money, different organizations. Tell me a little bit about some of the fundraising events that are going on.
Well, we have a full gamut of special events every year, Gail. So we have a tremendous golf outing that we do. We have a wonderful gala that happens here at the house. We put up a tent. We have a bunch of smaller events, as you said before. The New York Mets do an event for us every year. Believe it or not, families, corporations, schools, they can all do their own events. With our support, of course, we'll help, but there's hundreds of people.
It's so inviting. I mean, you have, what about people who want to volunteer?
We can use that help as well. We have over 150 volunteers every week that come to us to help us. And the staff here is very, very small. We're only 11 full-timers. So it's
now you started in 2010, correct?
As the executive director, I did start in 2010, and before that I was the director of development for a short period of time, and recently the board will announce next week that they have promoted me to be the president of the organization.
Congratulations. Is this are we breaking news here?
We are breaking news. We are
I love it.
Only for you, Gail.
Let's go on too, because in addition to that, you are also working on the family room, I understand, at Stony Brook Children's Hospital, which is the only children's hospital on Long Island serving 1.5 million people. I love this whole concept of a family room. So let's share a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, the family room is actually very similar to what we do here, except it's inside the hospital. It doesn't have sleeping arrangements. They don't have the space for that. But it's about 1,000 square feet. It is a great space. It's a house, a home inside a hospital. There's places where people can eat. There's a kitchen. There's laptops. There's a living room. There's a great place where you can shower. The laundry services we have there are used constantly. So it's a great concept, but again, it's that much closer to the patients' rooms and to the kids that are sick in the hospital.
Are you going to make a Ronald McDonald House there?
We hope. We've talked with the hospital. The hospital's so supportive of our mission and our program, and we've talked a lot with them about building a house out there, and we've even sort of begun the planning process, so it's exciting.
We found out that you need volunteers and that you do have them. We've talked about the money, but let me ask you this. Suppose somebody is watching this or going to be listening to it on the radio. How do they get started if they have a child and they do want to be in touch with you?
Well, if they want to come and volunteer, or if they want to donate, obviously the best place to start is our website. It's www.rmhlongisland.org. You can call us here at the house, 516-775-5683, and you can let us know what you'd like to do for us.
Matthew, what if somebody has a sick child?
If they have a sick child, they can call us as well, but usually that's done through the hospital.
Okay, it's done to the hospital.
If the child's in the hospital, the social worker has a referral process so that we know there's a child in the hospital. They send that over to us, and it's as simple as that.
Now, at the Stony Brook, at the family house, there are different ways that people can help. I understand some people can come in, they can help you welcome. What are some of the other things that they can do to volunteer? Because there's probably somebody sitting there saying, I don't know what skills I need required.
Well, the opportunities that we have in the family room are immense, not just coming and volunteering and being a part of what's happening in the room, but we have a wish list that we put out every single month, and it's on our website, and that's another way people can help. And maybe they might not have the skills to come in and be in the room and deal with the families that are there, but they can download our wish list. It changes every month online, and it's sometimes very simple things. Sometimes people do paper towel drives for us because we go through 25 rolls a day there, or
enforcing rules, perhaps.
Sure. It's really, there's something for everyone.
What about any publications? What magazines, what newspaper, anything like that do you have out? Love letters?
Sure. Love Letters is our biannual newsletter. It's a way for us to communicate with our donors and our volunteers and our constituents. We do all kinds of great stories in there. So it's.
Matthew, a final word before we take a tour of this 44,000 square foot beautiful place? Look at that camera and tell us.
I say thank you because it's a wonderful organization, but I have the privilege of saying thank you to the community, really, because we don't do this alone. Every single day, we have wonderful people like you, wonderful people watching and listening that come help us do what we do. So thank you.
And I say thank you, and please help.
So this is one of our second floor lounge. The lounges go up into the rest of the building. There's 4 floors above us. This particular lounge was done by Michael Tavano. All of the lounges and common spaces were done by designers last year in the town. So it's really great. You put in a little nook here for
look at this.
kids to play.
Look at this.
The kids
There's
have
a TV here. You can't see the TV, and it says beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. It's a little nook, a cozy.
Little nook, yeah. And each designer did something different with that space as you go up into the building.
Yeah,
So.
it's a hideaway, so a kid
Love
can
it.
go in there and have their own space. And
My favorite part. This is our brand new rooftop deck. It was done by Suzanne Costa, who's one of our board members.
I know.
Just a great outdoor space. Usually you can bring the awning out, there's music out here, the waterfalls are going. Just a great space to sit and relax.
Look at this. Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, she went with a sort of Moroccan theme. She had been to Morocco and decided she was going to put in water fountains. She got everything in this space donated, from the pillows to the wood and the teak flooring. She and I and her husband actually spent an entire Saturday staining this deck out.
Now I notice a lot of bright colors. That's done on
A lot of bright colors, yeah. And it's a place where families are just able to sort of come and relax. Take a deep breath.
colorful with children and families.
All this is outdoor pillows and outdoor furniture. So as soon as the sun hits it, it dries out if it rains.
And look where Marvin is with the backdrop. I love this. Wood, little areas. Yeah. And look at this. I love it. Just come sit down. I love things like this. Summer rock.
This entire floor here was done by Willis Paint. They donated 1,600 gallons of paint to both phases of the project. So the first phase they donated 800 gallons. The second phase they donated another 800 gallons of paint and decided to do this entire floor at their expense. So beautiful,
done.
right? They do
And
a
look
great
at
job.
this. Tell us about this.
Again, this is another one of those spaces where each designer did a new sort of different little thing on each of the lounge floors, and it's just a place for families to sit and relax. So, helped us build the building by naming this floor.
Okay. Beautiful. Look at this. What a great thing to go in. You know,
But this is the Katie McBride Fitness Center. McBride's donated this entire space to us. They helped assemble everything you see in here, from carpeting to Planet Fitness gave us all of the equipment. They got the television donated. It was really a group effort. The foundation really came up beside us and helped us with this space. It used to be an on-site apartment, a one-bedroom apartment. There was a kitchen over here. There was a living room, washer and dryer on this side and things like that, and then a bedroom and bathroom inside. But because we've gone to awake overnight staffing, we have somebody awake 24 hours a day, we took this space back.
what's
for our
the
families.
waiting time period usually for children to be put in?
We usually have no waiting list.
Really?
Usually,
That's
we have
incredible.
one over the summer. It's usually 2 to 3 families in length. Summers we're really very, very full. But other parts of the year, there's usually no
There
waiting.
is no
So this is our meditation room. It's done by Kim Radovich. She also did the media center upstairs in phase 1. And she incorporated all of the elements of feng shui in the space. So there's metal, there's wood, there's fire, there's water with the waterfall, there's light, there's all sorts of... and believe it or not, we'll clear out the furniture, we'll do yoga in this space. And a lot of times you'll find families just in here relaxing and meditating. So it's really a great space.
I found love. This
Yeah.
must be the house that love built.
You got it, Marvin. You got it.
And patience.
Yeah?
This is wonderful. This is wonderful.
She did a wonderful space, right? Usually the waterfall is on and the music is playing.
Beautiful.